Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. Sorry for being a little bit late. I accidentally went down well, I don't know if it was accident, maybe it was divinely inspired. I went down a rabbit hole and I just kept finding more and more things to go with the conversation that we're going to have here. So I hope you find it in your heart to forgive me. But nevertheless, I am Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show, and I hope that you are having a great day. You can normally find me on my channel Sunday through Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and on here, the African Diaspora News Channel, 11 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday. So we have one more day after today. Woohoo! For a whole host of reasons, right? But nevertheless, today we're going to be spending some time talking about a white man on a mission to stop the reparations scheme in San Francisco, California. And that's what he called it, a scheme. And boy, when I tell you he is on a mission, he is on a mission. So anyway, while we're waiting for more and more people to come on here, Sister Shirley, how you doing? Albie Chill, hope you're doing well. Mike Nice, Kevin, how are you? And Talia, I hope I said that right. How you doing? So we got a couple things we got to talk about here. So we are going to be in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, to be exact, on May 23rd, and you can find me, Brother Phil. I believe Sister Vicky is going as well. Again, they have invited us out. We were there last year and we had a blast. If you would like to come have a conversation with us, like we do here. But in person, please get your tickets at ohioblackexpo.com, ohioblackexpo.com, so that we can do that. Albie Chill, I know you said that you would be there, so I cannot wait to meet you. And all of the many people that are going to show up. Last year, we had Chicago Flips Red. We had Sister Cynthia Haynes come out. Afro Elite was there as well. So we just met a whole host of people. It was a great time. Please do not miss it again. ohioblackexpo.com. And then later up the road in the summertime, you can find us in Toronto, Canada at the AD&C Narrative Power Summit. We're going to be talking about media literacy, community voice, real change, just the stuff that we talk about here, right? But it's going to be live and in living color, up close and personal. So please get your tickets at africandiasporanews.org/Canada. Again, africandiasporanews.org/Canada. You can take a screenshot of all that. So we are traveling, we are doing things, we are moving from in front of the computer, whatever it is. So cannot wait to see each and every one of you there. Okay, so got one more last thing. Let me take that down. I didn't even mean to put that up. Of course, you guys know that we have an app here, African Diaspora News app, where you can get it on your Google or Apple Play Store. Of course, it is an app that we made for you, for us, by us, 100% Black from the top to the bottom, to the back, to the front, you name it. Because a lot of times people have what they call Black owned this, but is it really Black owned if you got white people on the board? I'm just asking, right? So this is something that we have created for us. It's getting better and better every day. I have seen that Brother Phil is now going live again on the app to cover exclusive things that we cannot cover here. So trust me, you do not want to miss those exclusives, and just a whole host of other things on there. But again, God forbid they turn the lights off here or Facebook. Where on earth would you find us? It surely won't be under a rock. It'll be on our app. So anyway, let's get into it for the sake of time. Now, of course, there's a lot of things going on all over the country, the world, but specifically in San Francisco, California, there is a white man by the name of Richie Greenberg. Okay, now he is on a mission to stop the reparations scheme, as he called it. Now, I did a little bit of research on him, and he has all these podcasts, these websites. He actually has websites. I won't give the names of them, but to teach people in California how to stop San Franciscans, California, from getting reparations. Now, the get is what they're supposed to be getting is, and this is just some of the stuff, right? $5 million per person, debt forgiveness, $97,000 per year for 250 years. Of course, they won't be there for 250 years, but that goes to their lineage, right? Generations to come. $1 down to buy a house or to lease a house or to rent a house. This is all for Black Californians. It's, San Franciscans, for the horrors of slavery, right? A lot of people saying there wasn't no slavery in California. Yeah, it was. Okay, we ain't gonna keep talking about that. But nevertheless, also they can get land, Black business hubs, Black schools, and a whole host of things. Well, he just flat out does not like it. Okay. Now I should say too, he also conceded that now the new mayor, Dan Laurie, they're saying they're not going to use taxpayers' dollars. They're going to do it from donations and things like that. But Richie, and I'm going to put his picture up so y'all can see him because I want to read something. But Richie is mad because he's more or less like, oh, well, okay, it might not be tax dollars, but they're going to have to spend tax dollars to have an agency or a building or some sort of a fund or whatever it is to give this money out. So that's going to come from somewhere. So he's like, we must stop it and stop it now. I was listening to some of his podcasts where he goes, or, videos where he goes out and he educates people, and they're like, oh, no, what? Oh, no, like he's just really ginning up the mob. He don't want black folks to have nothing. But specifically, this is what he said on part of his little website. So this is about us being segregated. So a self-segregated black population, the plan's author seeks to self-impose a walling off of their own black community in the southeast section of the city, segregated from the rest of San Francisco. Now, my thing is, let me keep reading before I get distracted. So such a drastic separation would be accomplished by replacement of San Francisco's current integrated education, healthcare, banking, town squares, tech hubs, housing, and cultural aspects with black only or black patronized or prioritized rather counterparts at a time in our city's history and indeed the history of our nation. The last thing San Francisco should ever consider is to fully segregate any portion of the population by race, enclosed by a wall, literal or figurative, even if that segment of the population desires it. No good has ever come from walling off residents. Think historic ghettos, Berlin, the racial segregation walls of Detroit and Miami's past Jim Crow era. Now, listen, Mr. Greenberg, when have you or anybody like look like you or think like you ever cared about black folks being segregated and walled off? You know why you care? Because y'all won't get any of that money. Y'all won't be able to see what we're doing. In a sense, y'all just don't want to see us happy simply because you just don't like us. Yeah, listen, right now, if I wanted to go move into the whitest neighborhood with my black self, they'll be, are you sure you belong here? Or if I move there, right, they see my U-Haul pulling up. I think you got the wrong neighborhood, gal. Or if I take a walk down the street, do you live here? What's your address? Because I never seen you here before. I just want to make sure, and if you don't tell me, I'm going to call the police. So we know that happens, right? We cover stories like that all the time. But here he is saying, oh, gosh, we don't want the blacks. We don't want the blacks to move off and have a wall and we won't see them. Gosh, God, we don't want them to get away from this wonderful healthcare system. And speaking of that, we know that a black woman here in the United States is afraid to go have a baby in any hospital here in the United States because she may not make it out alive. But he wants us to stay and be a part of the healthcare system. We know that the healthcare system was built off of slavery, especially here in the United States, and the horrible things that they did to our ancestors on those plantations in the name of medical science. And he talking about he wants us to stay and be a part of that. No, I don't think so. We need to be, it's windy out there. Oh my God. So yeah, we need to be getting away from them, right? And then of course, he talking about the tech hubs and things like that. Listen, in San Francisco, the tech industry has taken over there. It has run out the arts district and a whole lot of other things. And they want us a part of the tech industry. No, you don't. The only thing y'all want to do is take from us the things that we have done technologically speaking, right? The black woman that created the GPS system, she just passed away, right? I don't know how much rights that her family have to that, but we sure know that there's a whole lot of white companies that have the little GPS systems and all kind of stuff. So it's like, man, miss me with all that. And they don't want us to have our own banks, even though there are some still. I have a black owned bank account. When I got it years back, it was black owned, but then when I recently looked, I was like, oh, they got some other people on the board. And it's like, so it's black owned, I guess, but white controlled. That just blows me away. I don't get it. So anyway, that's Mr. Richie Greenberg. He's gonna miss us, and he doesn't want us to wall ourselves off from him and all of the lovely people. Now, he also has, and again, so if I didn't already say, he's suing to stop this, right? They tried to sue before, but they were unsuccessful. And the reparations so far looks like it's going through. with the new mayor, and he's white, by the way, Dan Laurie. He signed it into whatever. Now, the mayor before him, London Breed, was a black woman. And per what Richie was saying, you know, she put it on the shelf because I guess she was in campaign mode and it wasn't very popular. So she's, but when the white man got in office, he was like, oh, sure, go ahead. So again, Richie, along with this guy here, let me remove this. Andrew Quanillo, he is also, you know, one of the plaintiffs is trying to stop it. Now he works for the Pacific Legal Foundation, and it says Andrew Canillo joined Pacific Legal Foundation's equality and opportunity practice to make sure that no government denies any person the equal protection under the law. So I guess that's why he's joined, because in part he says acknowledging the past injustice does not give the government license to spend public resources on programs that sort people by race and ancestry today, said Andrew, an attorney with the Pacific Legal Fund. So he's basically like, okay, I don't care if any horrible things happen to you. That does not give you or anybody, you being black, right, the right to get any type of government funds. Those government funds, we like to call them reparations, right? So he's fighting with Richie to stop that, even though it's not supposed to be taxpayers' dollars. It's supposed to be donations of all kinds, you know, like the donations they said they was giving the Latinos there in Los Angeles through the Angelino card because they were afraid to go outside. So anyway, those two cats, they are trying to stop us from getting reparations. Now, this is kind of where I started to go down the rabbit hole, because I was like, well, you know, what does Dr. Claude Anderson have to say about this, right? I'm looking to see what is it we really need to do. And then I happened upon this conversation. Then I'll tell you the rabbit hole that I went down. So here's a conversation that I saw.
In 1998, when blacks talk about reparations for free labor in slavery, they are virtually laughed to scorn. Why is that?
That's part of the hypocrisy in this country, because first thing, black folk have never made it an issue. They keep thinking that they won't get it. Black people are the only group of people I know in this country who've labored and suffered and never got compensated for it. We've compensated American Indians now for almost 360 years with reparations. Whites got reparation, which they call freedom dues, and they came out of indentured servitude. Jews have gotten reparations. Jews have picked up over $52 billion since World War II. Japanese have gotten 3 or 4 reparations. They got $22,000 each starting in 1990 from the United States. They've also gotten reparations from 2 cities in California and the state of California. And Japanese Americans who moved to Latin America just came back into the country last year and picked up over $1 billion. The only people who've never gotten compensated is black folk. We even put money into Japan under what we call the Point 4 program, gave them $13 billion after we just got through bombing them. We also put another $14 billion into the Marshall Plan for Germans after we just finished bombing them. Black folk have never been compensated because black folk refused to make reparations an issue.
Okay. So let's remove that, and I'll show you the rabbit hole that I went down. I was like, oh, California gave Japanese money, huh? So, of course, I looked, and it says, yes, the U.S. government paid reparations to Japanese Americans, many of whom were California residents, via the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. This federal act provided a formal apology and $20,000 in compensation to survivors of World War II incarceration camps, while California helped facilitate the internment. The payments were federal, not from the state, but they still were instrumental in getting that done. So as I'm going down the rabbit hole, I found out about this particular gentleman here. His name is Ron, what they call him, Ron V. Dellums. Of course, I was a prominent Democrat, U.S. representative from California in 1971 to 1998, known as the Conscience of Congress for his progressive anti-war stance, a co-founder of the Congressional Black Caucus. He was the first African-American to chair the House Armed Services Committee and led the 1986 anti-apartheid movement. Okay, so that was Mr. Dellums. Obviously, he's gone on, RIP to him. But then I happened upon this video here, and I was like, oh, wow, here we go.
My home was in the middle of the block on Wood Street in West Oakland. On the corner was a small grocery store owned by Japanese people.
And I should say before it goes on, it is very old, so you kind of hear a little static in the background, so try your best to really hear it, but it's old, okay? So here we go.
My best friend was Rollins, a young Japanese child, same age. I will never forget, Mr. Chairman and members of this body, never forget, because the moment is burned indelibly upon this child's memory, 6 years of age. The day the 6x trucks came to pick up my friend. I will never forget the vision of fear in the eyes of Roland, my friend, and the pain of leaving home. My mother, as bright as she was, try as she may, could not explain to me why my friend was being taken away as he screamed not to go. And this 6-year-old black American child screamed back, "Don't take my friend." No one could help me understand that. No one, Mr. Chairman. So it wasn't just Japanese Americans who felt the emotion, because they lived in the total context of community. And I was one of the people who lived in community. And so I would say to my colleagues, this is not just compensation for being interned. How do you compensate Roland, 6 years of age, who felt the fear that he was leaving his home, his community, his friend, Ron, the black American who later became a member of Congress, Roland, the Japanese American who later became a doctor, a great healer. This meager $20,000 is also compensation for the pain and the agony that he felt and that his family felt. This meager $20,000, in 1942 terms, $2,800, is also compensation for the thousands of dollars of personal belongings that were strewn on the streets on 10th and Wood Street in West Oakland in 1942. Because in case you don't know it, they could only take what they could carry. And so the little football that we played in the streets, the games that we played that took up hours of our time in the streets, the furniture that we romped on and wrestled upon as children in 1942 in the streets. So there's $20,000 in this formula that if you were in for 1 day, you get a few nickels. If you were in for 3 years, you get the whole $20,000. As if we could play that game. This is not about how long you were in prison. It is about how much pain was inflicted upon thousands of American people who happen to be yellow in terms of skin color.
Okay, so again, that was our Representative Ron V. Dellums from California. He was also the mayor of Oakland. He was the 48th mayor, from what I understand. So again, he also co-founded the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congress of the Conscience of Congress. And so again, as I was going down the rabbit hole, I just kind of saw that. I was like, well, isn't that interesting? Of course, he told the story about his childhood friend in 1942. They got snatched up by the government because they were Japanese. They're put in these internment camps, and he just talked about the trauma that he experienced, that his friend experienced. And so he was there, I think it was 1984, and they finally got in 1988, but, championing for them to get this money. He kept deducing it down to meager, right? This meager, in a sense, he was saying this funky $20,000 for what they endured. Okay. Now, again, this was during World War II, and they should not have endured that. Again, they were Japanese citizens of America. So they weren't like illegal immigrants, nothing like that. So yes, horrible what they endured. And I'm like, so $20,000 is a funky little $20,000 back then. So I looked, maybe I need to look deep enough. And so I don't want to totally say, but I didn't really see anything on Representative Dellums like giving it a full-throated conversation about reparations for Black Americans. Again, I haven't found it yet. I don't want to say that he didn't. And then for those y'all want to know, he is Black American. His people were, Pullman, porter, workers and things like that, right? So he is Black American. But as I was watching that, and I watched it a few times, I was like, wow, he going to bat for Japanese. Again, he's one of the co-founders of Congress. And then it made a lot of sense to me. I said, okay, now that's why Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus, that's why the Congressional Black Caucus operates the way they do. In a sense, it seems like they've always operated that way. What do we see them do now? We see them screaming and hollering, going to bat for other communities. Again, they're supposed to be the Congressional Black Caucus, but they're the Congressional Everybody But Black Caucus. We see them do that to this day. So I just got to thinking like, wow, was that always the mission? Because I get it, that was his friend and all of that. And, he went to some horrible things, but it's like, man, you a Black American. I think he was born in 1931? Let's see. 1935. So he's born in 1935. So I'm quite sure he's, heard a whole lot of stories of people that were enslaved. Born in 1935, yeah, his great grandparents probably were slaves or stuff like that. And it's like, man, you should have been doing all that for your own people if he wasn't, right? I don't totally know if he wasn't, but the fact remains is that the Japanese Americans, they got the money. They were paid, right? Then I want to show you this from Ronald Reagan, who was the governor at the time.
Americans, we gather here today to right a grave wrong. More than 40 years ago, shortly after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, 120,000 persons of Japanese ancestry living in the United States were forcibly removed from their homes and placed in makeshift internment camps. This action was taken without trial, without jury. It was based solely on race. For throughout the war, Japanese Americans in the tens of thousands remained utterly loyal to the United States.
August 10th, 1988, 46 years after being imprisoned in concentration camps, Americans of Japanese ancestry finally received an official apology from the United States government.
So again, not only did they get an apology, they also got a check. Now, we've gotten an apology as Black American descendants of slavery. We've gotten apologies from everywhere, from the federal government, I think. We got it from different states and cities and all kind of stuff. But we're like, we don't want no apology. That's not going to, we can't do anything with that. We don't care that you said you're sorry or any of that other stuff, because a lot of us have heard, I'm sorry for a whole lot of things, and it didn't change, the behavior. But nothing says I'm sorry like writing a check, for the money you owe due to what was going on with our ancestors on those plantations, the things that our ancestors did not want going on with them, right? The stolen labor, the stolen things that they weren't trying to give up, that the massa and his wife would take just because they wanted it. Then our ancestors didn't have a say-so in the matter. Like, no, not today, massa. I'm good. Thank you. No, I don't want that. No means no. They didn't care. I don't even think they could say no, because I'm imagining saying no would cost you your life or, a couple lashes on your back, whatever it is. So you acquiesce even though you didn't want to. But, apologies ain't going to, we want to check. Because again, just thinking about all the years, what is it, 250 years of stolen labor from sunup to sundown, back breaking, and the torture, the unalivings, the baby snatchings, and the whole host of other things. The apology ain't gonna get it. Now, I know the Japanese, they were interned in those camps, and it was not as long, even though a minute is too long. I don't want to deduce what went on with them, but man, our people got centuries in that. Centuries in and the horrible things that I just described. And there you have Mr. Richie Greenberg and Andrew Quinino, whatever his name is. They're going to sue San Francisco so that Black San Franciscans cannot get any money. Yeah, $5 million. And $5 million ain't nothing, especially with all the things that I just described. It's a drop in the bucket. But he's making it a point, and he made it about the money and stuff, but he's really making it a point. Well, we don't want them to separate. We've gone away from that. But y'all were all right with separation until the civil rights movement came into play, when they got rid of segregation. I mean, there's a copious amount of videos and all kind of stuff out there showing them fighting back. I was watching one early, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try to talk about it. It was a school integration type thing back in the 60s. I think it was somewhere in Georgia or something like that. And the white residents were furious. When I say furious, the women, get out of here. This is our land. What about our rights? They were mad. How dare you? God would not allow this. Like, they were mad. But all of a sudden, y'all gonna miss us. And especially we've heard a lot about that when the Trump administration got rid of the ban on segregation on the federal level in regards to contracting. Then we started to kind of really have that conversation about segregation. And as my friend, Brother Samuel always says, he says, well, it's not really about segregation. It's about separation. That's what we should be talking about, right? Separation, the segregation thing, okay, whatever. A lot of racism, but the separation is we just don't want to hang out with y'all no more. Our ancestors during the civil rights movement thought it was a good idea, thought we should go move next door and to send our kids to school with them. And as my friend Donovan always says, eat the seasonless soup with them in their restaurants. We thought we've made it. But now here in 2026, we're like, yeah, we want to undo that. We don't want that no more. Right. And so that we're starting to have that conversation out loud. You do hear a lot of people from all different walks of life saying, well, we're the human race. Why would you want to do that? We all belong together. And it's like, who you fooling? It's exhausting, really, because when we want to stay, y'all don't want us. When we want to go, y'all want to keep us. It's like, make up your mind. But never mind. We don't care if you make up your mind. We're gonna make up our minds. We don't want to be around y'all. And listen, it's not out of hate for you or for some people. I'm gonna turn my fan on y'all because it's hot. So it's not really out of hate for y'all. It's out of love for us. We're starting to love us. And as I said, with the delineation movement and things like that, I'm in it for the love. Okay. I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the unity. I'm in it for the building. I'm not in it to be talking about other people. And I ain't in it for that. Y'all could leave me out of all of that or whatever it is, but definitely let's, get together, whatever it is. And so as I was thinking about this topic, I was like, okay, well, we've got to find a way to combat what Mr. Greenberg and the other cat is trying to do. Okay. Not even just in San Francisco, but all over. Now, how do we do that? It's simple. It's not my idea. It's not an original idea. Matter of fact, I didn't even write it down because it's just not an original idea. But what did the Japanese do? Or what are any group of people, Latinos or any of them? They have unity. We can even go to Minnesota where the Somalis are. They're unified. Now, I know they got a lot of things going on. I don't know if y'all saw the State of the Union last night. It was a big snooze fest. In fact, I went to sleep, okay? All I heard was wah, 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 wah. And America's the hottest country. Wah, 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 wah. I literally went to sleep. I woke up at like 4:30 this morning. I was like, oh, okay. But everybody is unified. Now we're starting to get that way. And our people used to be unified because we had to be unified, right? To build the Wall Streets and the Slocums, the Rosewoods and the Allentowns. And we had to be unified to do that because we were all that we had. So if we get back to that, we are all that we got, then we'll start to move in tandem, right? We'll move in tandem the way we vote, because again, we know that we are the only group of people who vote, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, as a block for our oppression. We know good and well that voting for the Democrat Party is going to get us what? Nothing specifically. Even last night with the Democrats, they boycotted the State of the Union by Trump. And I saw, I'm not going to do it. I almost did it because when I describe her, it's just, I need to unlearn it. I was going to go like that. Ayanna Pressley. I saw her and she was talking about, that they're not going to the State of the Union because they snatching babies and these ICE raids and this, that, and the other. I'm like, yes, that's horrible. They should not be doing that. But I sure would have loved for you to boycott the State of the Union because Black Americans aren't getting reparations. I'd love to see you out there, saying I didn't go for that, but you going to crash out for people in a sense who are here illegally. Nothing for Black Americans. So we got to unify the way we vote. They, especially the Congress people, they're up for re-election every 2 years. And we got to think long and hard about if we should vote for them or not. Look at their behaviors. Look at who they champion. Look who, they do the most for. Look who is benefiting the most from them. Especially the Congressional Black Caucus. It's not us. It's everybody else. So we have to unify with our voting. We're going to vote for this, that, the other, but whatever it is, we're going to vote together. Now, I know we already do that. Again, it's not, we're voting against ourselves, but we need to vote for something. And I should say, in all fairness, all the other communities don't really vote all together, but they are unified in other places, right? Like with their money. There's always talk about it. It's always been said. You don't have to tell Asians, hey, shop Asian today. Make sure you go to H Mart. Don't go to the Kroger or Walmart. And to be honest with you, when I'm in those places, I rarely even see like Asians. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's just where I am. I don't really see them in other grocery stores or whatever. They're probably shopping in their own stores, but it's second nature to them. So we have to do that. We have to organize our money. We have to keep the almost $2 trillion that we are realizing. We have to keep most of that. Right now, we give 97% of that away. We got to figure out how to keep it, how to build our own businesses, even though, the Mr. Greenberg don't want us to be roped off. Okay, fine. Let's say we don't get reparations. We will, because it's not if, it's when, right? It's the original sin. America's got to atone for that, fall of America, all that. But let's say while we're waiting for reparations, we build our own things and we say, well, we don't care if you like us being walled off or not. We're going to wall ourselves off from you and ain't nothing you can do about it. See, I guarantee if we really start to spend our own money, he ain't going to have nothing to say. But he think, or the other thing too is y'all can see Mr. Greenberg. I'm just going to say about that. His people got reparations. They sure did. They got it from, I think it was I'm not talking to you, Siri. I think it was the Obama administration, right? His people got it. I wonder if he was running around, with Mr. Andrew, who seems to be Asian, right? If they were running around talking about, no, they don't deserve reparations. It's only us. So we got to organize the way we spend our money and, our values, our beliefs, and a whole host of things. We have to really get on the same page. Now, maybe not believe the same certain things, but the code. Last couple of days, I've been having a lot of conversations with my audience on my channel about the code, right? Specifically that from Neely Fuller Jr. We got to get on code. And the codes are all the same, whether it's the laws of Ma'at, it's the 10 commandments, it's the code from Neely Fuller Jr., whether it's the codes from the Nation of Islam, whether it's the codes from Marcus Garvey, whoever. The codes are really the same, right? So we got to get on those codes. And then I'm going to throw this in because I think we rarely talk about this and we really do need to talk about it. Is love. You can't do anything without love. First, you got to love yourself. When you love yourself, you love your people. And do you do things that are conducive for the community of your people when you do it out of love? See, that's something we really got to learn love and we got to unlearn hate. Because unfortunately, we have been taught that way back in the gap, from the plantation. And we just haven't unlearned that. And oftentimes we are harder on ourselves than we are anybody else. And I get it. It's conditioning. Dr. Joy DeGruy talked about that, right? Post-traumatic slave syndrome or disorder, I think it is. But we have to unlearn that because nothing is going to matter or move if we don't love each other. So that's all I got. Anyway, let me see what y'all got to say. I seen somebody came up in here swinging. When I say they came up in here swinging, they came up in here swinging. Boop. Thank you so much. I caught that at the corner of my eye. I said, I ain't never seen that color before. Famously Blacker 1003. Man, that is a hell of a donation. I love and appreciate you for that. He says, I appreciate your voice. Keep sharing your love and wisdom. You know what? That is very inspirational. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cannot say thank you enough. I wish that I could. But that is shocking. But appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I get the inspiration from y'all. I will say this is not always easy, but I love it. I would never do anything that I do not love. If I did not love doing this, I absolutely would not do it. I say, hey, Brother Phil, I'm gone. If I didn't love doing it, but I love doing it in spite of everything. Regina, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Love and appreciate you for that. And everybody who's liked, subscribed, anything that you've done to contribute to help this channel grow, it is much appreciated. But yes, that is a hell of a donation. If I had socks on, they would have been knocked off. All right, so let's see. Where did I leave off? Mad Fun Kids, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, if anyone ever believes that sin does not exist, check out Epstein, Corrupt, Trump, and Sycophants Plus, rapidly destroying the fabric of America values. Remember to consistently, accurately call out. Well, you got to call it out all the time. But with calling out everybody else's sin, we got to call out our own. Right? We got to call out our own misgivings and transgressions and things, because I think, especially with the inception of the internet, we tend to go, Look at you. Look what you did. Oh, well, you just type away. And we got a whole paragraph or two about why you need to and why you ain't. Instead of saying, well, dang, what about myself? Like I need, to do some inventory on myself. So when we inventory ourselves, then everything kind of in a sense takes care of itself. But we too busy trying to, and we should call out things. I'm not saying we shouldn't call things out, but we should start looking in the mirror. Well, thank you, Talia. I appreciate that. Some of that was sweat. Albie Chill says, I'll be there. I'm in my young Michael Jackson voice. Okay, I'll be there. I don't know what voice that was, but I heard it in my head. Silverback, how you doing? What's going on with you? Let's see, Brian, what's up with you? Says it would be nice if we could collectively realize the solution is between each of us, not outside groups, politics, organizations, etc. I should have just let you do this and we could have just been out of here. But that is the solution. It's us. The solution is with us. Now, should we expect solutions from people we send to office? Yes. Should we expect solutions or something from people we give our money to? Yes. But if they don't do it, they don't help us when we stop giving them our money and our votes, right? Cloudless, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else showed up. Ibri God, I hope I said that right. He says, how many blacks are receiving and how much is the reparations cost? In San Francisco, they have a 4% black population. So it ain't much. There used to be a large black population in San Francisco. Not no more. San Francisco is one of the most expensive places in the nation to live. And a lot of that is because, again, they started with the tech industry there. So there's a lot of headquarters like at Google's, I think Tesla, and like all the tech stuff. So the people that are working in those offices, they're getting the big salaries, right? And so they moved in from different places and they're like, oh, I need somewhere to live. So that's when the arts district started to get attacked. Now, a lot of people in the arts district, they're selling paintings, just the music and stuff. They ain't making a lot of money, but it makes San Francisco what it is or what it was. But the tech giants was like, well, that's fine. But I want that house. I want to live there. And so what the landlords would do, and I know it's the Ellis Act. I don't want to quote it because I'm going to mess it up. But it's supposed to be some sort of rent protection. But so what a lot of times the landlords would do is be like, oh, you're in the tech industry, so you can pay $5,000 for this. And these people that I have here are only paying, I don't know, $1,100. Oh yeah, bet. I'm going to get them out of here. Now, mind you, them people have been there for years. Okay. And they get displaced. So with that, of course, we know Black folks in America, some I say some of us, I mean them, are making a lot of money, but a lot of us aren't. So they couldn't afford to stay. And a lot of people in San Francisco, so they got displaced. So yeah, there's not a lot of Black people in San Francisco anymore, unfortunately. My niece is actually going to school there. And I saw in the comments yesterday when I said that my nephew is going to Berkeley. He's one of the 80 something people, Black students that were allowed into Berkeley. Somebody says, oh, well, I thought you were all about Black schools and this, that, and the other. Yeah, that ain't my child, though. It's my brother's child. Okay. Or whatever. And, my daughter, she didn't go to an HBCU. You know why she didn't go to an HBCU? She went to San Francisco as well. Because her daddy was a veteran. She got to go for free 99. Because, he was a veteran. So anyway, I don't even know how I got off on that one. But anyway, Kevin says he's Filipino. I see. Okay, so that's what it is. I know he was Asian. You're talking about the guy. Ryan, how you doing? Says funny, each of their ancestors got reparation. They sure did, but they don't ever want Black folks to get it because, again, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, I don't know, we're starting to fight for it now, but in a sense, a lot, I kid you not, I'll tell you a true story. I was talking to this guy, not like that, but he was saying that he was asking his mom about reparations, and she's like in her 80s, and she didn't even know what it was. I said, well, she would have been closer to the plantation than any of us, right? And she didn't know what it was. Believe it or not, a lot of people, Black Americans, maybe they've heard of it, but they didn't know. So we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of education to do, right? Original man, how you doing? Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. Your name, I don't know why I'm going down memory lane today. Your name reminds me. One time, my father, he took us to Universal Studios when the Knight Rider car was there. Kit, y'all remember Kit, the Knight Rider? Didn't. So anyway, we get into the car, and you can ask the car different questions. So my dad, Muslim, right? Since he was 19, my dad every time he would take us to the amusement park or whatever, he would have on his suit. I don't care where we went. My dad had on his 3-piece suit. So we get into the car and ask a kid a question. My dad says, ask him who the original man is. And we're like, we don't want to ask that, daddy. But you listen to your daddy. So we ask kid, who's the original man? He says, well, I am. Oh no, but your name just reminded me of that. But how you doing anyway? Miss E. McCrae, what's going on with you? Say he's a whole lie. San Francisco has an entire Asian exclusive neighborhoods and business district, and no one bats an eye. I know. I absolutely know that. But again, they don't want us to have that. We don't want them roped off from us because the 4% that's there, if you rope that black population off, then the others, the Asians or whoever else is there, they don't get the money. Because right now, that's where our money goes. They can set up shop in our communities and they get the money because we don't have our own stores. I think when I looked, it said it was like 10 black-owned grocery stores in America. I don't know if that's true or not, just when I looked a little while ago. So, of course, we're going into their stores, the grocery stores, the beauty supplies, the nail salons, whatever it is. They're like, because we know y'all ain't got nowhere to park your money. Y'all ain't set up like that. So come on over here. So if you rope us off with $5 million a piece and some land that we paid $1 for and all, they're like, however, will we get that money? That's what that is. Okay. Fudge, what's going on with you? How you doing? Gord girl, how you doing? It says in 2016, a United Nations working group of experts of people of African descent recommended that the United States provide reparations to African Americans for the legacy of slavery. He says a finding emerged as President Barack Obama was leaving office. The report cited a human rights crisis stemming from racial subordination. It says police brutality and historical injustices and Caribbean reparations, and then your comment cut off. But yeah, we still waiting for that check. And Barack Obama was not about that life. He's about helping everybody else. James, how you doing? Says, but I think he is no good for what I know. And I don't know what that's in regards to. I'm sure it's something I said, though. What to watch, how you doing? Says, yes, it was always the mission. Let's see, Mr. Brewster, how you doing? Hope that you are well. I'm skip down just a little bit. Vinny, I hope I said that right. It says, how you doing? America pay because and Japanese complain and buy his people in America, and that's only why the whites paid. I guess I have to reread that. I think I get what you're saying, but okay. Ryan says if Black Americans still don't realize we stand alone by now, then we really are as dumb as they think we are. Well, we're not dumb. We just we are conditioned people. We gotta uncondition ourselves, what they say, unbrainwash, unlearn the things that we have been taught. And there sure has been a big effort to keep us asleep, right? And keep us not thinking and working together. That's why you see all these different, gender wars and this, that, the other, they throw out a scandal from a celebrity and we talk about it. Right now, 50 Cent and T.I., not that you guys care about it, I don't care about it either, but they're fighting and it's just, so they keep us distracted. They talking about who Janet Jackson is dating and everybody's, oh, really? And it's like, that's none of our business, okay? Who she's dating or anybody's dating, let's stay focused on us. Because at the end of the day, Janet Jackson gonna be all right. First class citizen, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well today. Lou, he says, why you say F them reparations? Well, I just always say for people who are like, we're not gonna get it after reparations, just divvy your check up with the rest of us. We'll take it. We sure will. We are not gonna complain. Albert says, man, as soon as they see we're happy about getting away from them, then they stop talking about segregation. They really don't want to be around us. It's about the money, which is why civil rights even happened in the first place. It was more about money. It wasn't about us. It was about the money. They was like, oh, they got money and they spending it with each other. And we sure could use that money. So Again, that film, How to Sell to the Negro Market, I think it is. It talked about it perfectly. In a sense, they were saying, you ain't got to like the Negroes, but they got money. And that's what happened. We were able to shop next to Mrs. I don't know, Hellman's. We got to shop next to her and buy the same old funky dress she was wearing. And we thought that was something when we were some of the best seamstress. That's another thing. We don't even sew no more. Beats by Dizzy, what's going on with you? Says reparation and separation. Come on now. Miles Langston, how you doing? Says separation 100. Absolutely. Shan, how you doing? Says, and the black man got in Crystal out. It says, talk about herself and got mail with him and tried to tell him about this. A husband jumped in the middle of them this morning. Crucial. I don't even know what that is. You'll have to break that down for me. Monique, how you doing? You laughing at something I said. I know it was stupid, whatever it was. Monique says, we are all that we got. It's time to boycott. Yep. Lewis, what's going on with you? Lois, rather. I'm sorry, Lois. He says, we're sick of these folks. I don't feel none of the parties are going to do anything for us. No thanks. Nah, that's why we got to do for self. And then they will. They will when they see that Black Americans ain't playing with them no more. And we're not voting just for any and everything. And, we're thinking people, they'll start to say, okay, playtime is over. Let's really get them something, and they know what that something is. It's a check. McQueen, how you doing? He says, our joy, unity, delineation is the folks' biggest nightmare, and it has come to surface. I love that for them. Yep. Black Mac, what's going on with you? He says, reparations. Yes. Steve, how you doing? You're agreeing with Albie too. He says, united against us. Oh, yeah, they'll do that all day long, all day. I just got to put this up here again for y'all to see this. I just got to put that up there. Beautiful color, isn't it? Beautiful color. 203 low gang. How you doing? Will A, what's going on with you? Hope you're well. Just skipping down. Roos, how are you today? You Ziza, you say always, and how are you? Just going down. To anybody haven't seen. Moshe, what's going on? He says, we can start networking now. But as I always say, man, yeah, we can network. And network is kind of like gives me PTSD in a sense, because I have a background in sales. And the key word was network. We got to network. Let's network. It's like, I don't want to network anymore because I'm broke. We just networking to death, right? We changing, business cards. So give me a call sometime, or, I can help you out. Ain't nobody calling nobody because we all up in there hustling in a good way, with some in the bad. But so I say all that to say is we need to network in our house. If we network in a house first, network with your children, your husband, if you're fortunate enough to have one, or your wife, or whatever it is, or your cousins, your aunties at the barbecues, the family reunions, whatever it is, that's the network. In sales, we used to call that our warm market. The warm market is the people you can say, what you doing? Oh, really, for real? Okay, cool. Listen, I got the life insurance policy. I want to sell you. What can I come over? I'll bring something to drink. That's your warm market. The people that it's already warm. It's your friends. So those are the people we network with. Hey, we're all gonna get some income tax back. Or when I say we all them, because I ain't got no money back in a while. How about we put some of that money toward buying a piece of land? All these houses that are for sale now, let's buy one. And then maybe we can rent it out. Or maybe somebody in the family can rent it, whatever it is. And then next year we do it again. And we buy another house. And like, you see what I'm saying? So that's what the real networking is with the people you already know. Because in a sense, and I'm not saying this about you, I get exactly what you're saying. I hate the culture of networking, especially on the internet. Certain things, right? Certain things we can, but I just come on, let's get together and let's go buy this piece of property. I don't know you. I wouldn't even know you if I bumped into you in the public square. But the people you do know, you want to talk about buying no property with them? So yeah, networking, yes, but with the people you know first. Y'all rules, what's going on? He says, you sound real soft right now. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because I'm pretty loud as a person. My mom used to always say that, you loud. I'll be on the phone in the back of the house because I can hear you all the way out. I guess I heard I got that from my great grandmother. Remy, how you doing? Says we should be demanding the restoration of land. We are the true heirs of the land under our feet. We are the copper tone people find here by so-called Christopher Columbus. We've been here. Okay, absolutely. That is absolutely. Let's see. Shannon, what's going on with you? Says my father's side is born and raised there, and people trying to stay with all this mess going on there. So you're talking about San Francisco. San Francisco is a lovely, lovely place to be. It's just a lot going on. There's a lot of people homelessness and stuff. They just ain't got it to stay. So to live in a house. So it's like, if I can't live in a house, where am I gonna go? The street. You know, you hear people crying, "Oh, there's a homeless people." What homeless people supposed to go to the bathroom at? They won't let them in the businesses. No, you can't, use the bathroom here. So where they gonna go? So then you walking around outside and like, we should solve homelessness. We solve everything else. Hell, if we could solve illegal immigration, immigrants coming over here and getting them shelter and things like that, we could solve homelessness. I would think. I just think that some people aren't interested in doing it. At some places, you can't even help the homeless. You can't feed them, can't do any of that other stuff. And so it makes you wonder, are y'all trying to like get rid of them? Like, what are you trying to do? Like this eugenics thing, the downtrodden of society. We need to get rid of them. It's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Other day, I was at the gym and I just pulled up and I saw, because at Planet Fitness, you could get a membership if you whatever your situation is, and you can go use the showers and stuff. So I saw this guy. He was coming out of there, and you could tell he was homeless. And I was just watching him walk, past my car, and I just got emotional. When I see stuff like that, it does bother me, and I just got really emotional because, for one, I got grateful. I was like, man, I literally just left a house, where it was warm, out of a bed. I can, take a shower in my house and, things like that. And when I see people who are homeless, it does make me grateful, but it makes me sad at the same time, because it's like, this is just horrible. All the money we spend on everything, and we can't give people a place to stay. And it's just because our politicians don't want to. I'm firmly in belief of that. They just don't want to do that. So it's sad. Deshaun, what's going on? She says the U.S. Census Bureau has the receipts of who to distribute the checks to. Oh, yeah, they do. So I'm saying, like I said, if I brought some crack in my house, they would know. Unfortunately, they don't know who brought the crack in the White House, but they would know if you brought some in your house. So they know who was who and what people are doing. Reality was going on. It says ending slavery never stopped. No one is stopping reparations. No, reparations is a must. Shan, how you doing? And I see I'm almost out of time. Says my great grandmother and great grandmother is like 2 generations from that slavery. And I used to talk to my grandmother about it, and she said it was horrible. Yes, my father, his great grandparents were slaves, and he said he remembered seeing whips on, I think it was his grandmother's back. I think he said, yeah. So thinking of that, my dad was 81. He just passed not too long ago, but that wasn't that long ago, where someone like my father as a young man could recall that story, right? So Sister Shirley says, you're correct. I'm in my 70s, and a lot of Black people don't know what reparation is about. Yeah, so we got to keep having these conversations, because that's unacceptable that our people don't know. Sharon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. See, even skip down. Niall, how are you? Says, greetings, gutter, peace, love, many blessings. And thank you so much for this. Oh, it's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Remy, he says reclamation. Okay. And I think I've seen everybody. If I did not see everybody and say hello, I am so sorry. I got to the bottom. I made it. I get excited when I get to the bottom. Mad Dog, how you doing? McQueen says, my great grandmother told me that her grandmother was a slave. See what I'm saying? So we were connected. I'm 55. Okay, I'll be 55, not 55 yet, but I'm 55. I don't know. The younger people say I'm old, like my daughter. She's like, you're old, but I'm not that old. But to where I can literally hear a story from my father telling a story about his great grandparents who were slaves. Right? So that tells us it's a long time ago, but it wasn't really a long time ago. I mean, we got people who are living into their hundreds right? Centurions. We got people. So, they've heard the stories. So it wasn't that long ago, but they tell us that, oh, so long ago, you need to get over it. And we ain't going to never get over it. Nobody else has ever told to get over it. It was that long ago. We're never going to get over it. And unfortunately, we have some of our people who say, just get over it. No, I'm not. And when the reparations checks come, don't you put your hands on the check. If they deposit it into your bank account, say no, thank you. Because that was for something that was a long time ago, so the rest of us could get it. You know what I mean? And again, as I said, my father just passed, and sad obviously because he passed, but just thinking about a lot of things, I was like, damn, my daddy really should have saw a reparations check. He should have seen a reparations check by now. And so then I kind of get somber a little bit because I'm like, will I see one? I'm not saying we won't get it, but will I see it? Will my generation see a reparations check? Will my daughter's generation see a reparations check? I hope that we do, but we really got to change the way we do things. If we don't, generations will, continue to leave here without seeing reparations check, not because, we just want it or we're lazy. It's because it's a debt that's never been paid. And the more that we stay distracted, divided, fighting, hateful, and all of that, the longer it's going to take us to get it. So we got to get on the same page. But at the end of the day, we got to start with love. It's just that simple. So, yeah. Miss R Steak, you said, I hope you all get it. We will. And thank you for that. We need all the well wishes we can get, and well wishes. And, for those who may not be getting a reparations check, help us get it. Help us get it. And I guarantee everybody will be better for it. Just help us get it. Because one thing about Black Americans, we are very loving, giving people. So if you help us get it, I promise you, you will not regret it. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of you. Super brother, how you doing? Says we were moved off of our land in 1830. So-called Blacks will never see it. In the words of Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive. Anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Peace.